Hello
This
everyone.
conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to Online ITGuru Blockchain Online Training Demo Session. Thanks for joining this demo session. Before we get into any of the technical details of blockchain and the course, let me give you a brief introduction about me. My name is Nishant Kumar. I got around totally 7 years of experience into advisory, consulting, managed services, and training in blockchain cybersecurity space. I have been training people in various domains. When I say domains, it's like various industries like telecommunications, banking, finance, transportation, industrial manufacturing, and other information technology companies. I got around 2 years deep dive into the blockchain experience on various platforms like Ethereum, Hyperledger, Multichain, and Coda. I'm a PCB certified trainer and IB Council certified blockchain trainer and blockchain professional. I also hold 8 other certifications, and for the past 3+ years, I'm exclusively conducting trainings. Coming to my skills on the blockchain, I work on Ethereum, Hyperledger, Multichain, and Coda. One of the biggest advantage that I look at and now that I understand is that I understand the traditional infrastructure and the various software development technologies. I hope I'll be in a better position to share some of my experiences that I have undergone and the scenarios that I have looked in the industry. I'm an actually active contributor in Linux Foundation and I do the source code review for the Hyperledger Iroha project. I worked in different levels in the blockchain solutions starting from gathering the requirements, then including the design, architecting the solution, doing the development and delivery at various organizations. Being a consultant, that's my role. So with these kinds of experiences and the certifications, I'm pretty confident in delivering these blockchain trainings, and I'm sure I'll be able to handle all your questions throughout the demo. If you have any questions, feel free to ask the questions in the chat box and I should be able to see it. If it is very relevant to the topic, I'll quickly go ahead and take the question. And if I feel that that can be addressed in the later slides, I'll be going ahead and pausing it. That's pretty much about me. So I would just like to get a overview of what is your course or the background that you are coming from, so that it will be easy for me to correlate the examples. Let me start with Srijit. Srijit, you can introduce about yourself, and from there we will take it up. Srijit, can you hear me? Hello. Can you guys hear me? Hello.
Nishant, can you hear me? This is Balaji.
Yeah, now I can hear you. Now it's fine.
Yeah, Nishant. So this is Balaji. I'm from Chennai. So currently I'm working in content technology.
Is that
So
Balaji?
yes, correct.
I think Srijit, I cannot hear. So let's start with Balaji then.
Yeah, Nishant. So this is Balaji. I am from Chennai. So I am working in the cognizant technology solutions. So where I have a 4 years experience in SAN technology. Have you heard about it, Nishant? SAN, storage area network.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have experience in the technology for last 4 years. So now I'm looking to change the technology. So that's what I choose this technology. So I just want to have some brief introduction of this technology.
Okay, sure. I think you'll be getting that details from here.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot, Balaji, for your introduction.
Yeah.
Srijit, can you please introduce about yourself because I cannot hear your voice. Maybe you need to look at your speaker, microphone, or if you are using any headset, I think we need to validate it. Srijit, can you just give me your introduction on the chat box and I'll be able to read it for you? if that's possible. Balaji, is my audio clear and you are able to hear me?
Yeah, yes, Nishant, your voice is clear.
Okay, good. If you face any disturbances, please do let me know, Balaji. I'll be
Yeah,
able to.
sure. Yeah, sure.
Thanks, man. Srijit, I'm sorry. Can you try talking? Srijit, you're there? Can you just ping me on the chat? I think I'm not sure whether Srijit is here or not. So yes, let me continue the session then. Meanwhile, once Srijit is here, we should be able to get his introduction. So just a instructions for all the participants. This session is going to be on an average from 45 minutes to 60 minutes based on the topics that we are going to cover. I would request you to unmute your microphones. If you have any questions, please do post it in the chat box. And yes, your active listening is very important to get most out of this course. Yes, the main objective of this course is anyone who is interested in blockchain can take these courses. The courses that generally blockchain offered us, anyone who is interested can go ahead and take this course. What happens is this courses will benefit you in obtaining the understanding of various blockchain technologies and implement and build your enterprise grade solutions. Anyone who has the basic knowledge on computers and awareness about cryptocurrencies can take this course. If you would like to understand the basics, how blockchain is different from the existing technology, and various platforms that you can work on blockchain technology and various consensus algorithms. So before we discuss on technical aspects, first let me make you understanding of some basic terminology. The first terminology that we need to understand is assets. Asset means anything that is capable of being owned. That means anything that has a value can be called as an asset. Now, there are two types of assets. One is the tangible asset and non-intangible assets. Tangible assets are which you can touch and feel, like house, money. Intangible assets are mortgage, bond, patent, something like music, which you cannot feel or touch. Those are intangible assets. Now, we need to understand about ledger. Ledger means a group of transactions put together. Suppose today I am giving $5 to my friend. Now that is a transaction. Or tomorrow asset value, like a property value has changed from 1 crore to 2 crores. That's a change in the transaction. So all this can be combined as a transactions. Now this concept of ledgers is actually used in financial and accounting terms. In financial industry, you will have terms like money credit, money debit, current balance. Are generally these are the few parameters that generally we store in ledger. Now, ledger means a group of transactions put together. Previously, what used to happen is previously most of the ledgers used to be on the paper. They used to write it on the paper. Now, as the technology is growing, people opted for computers. Now, once the computers are opted, people used to store all the data in the computers. Okay, now an example for the transaction could be like, an Alice is selling a car to the Bob. It can be anything. So transaction can be of anything. And there is something called contract. When I say contract, those are the list of conditions for a transaction to get executed. For example, if there is a condition saying that every month I need to give $10 to you, that's a contract. Now, $10 is a transaction and that condition is a contract. Now let's understand about centralized and distributed. Till now we were looking at systems that are located, like, all the data is located in a single system. Now, if the ledger database is located in a single location, then it's called centralized ledger. And if it is distributed across multiple locations, then it's called as distributed ledger. In central ledger, what happens is only one or two systems will have the entire data and only they process all the transactions. However, in a distributed ledger, every system holds all the data and every node on the network processes every other transaction. Now, what is the problem with centralized ledger is centralized ledger is controlled by a single person or by a company. It's a single point of failure. And in centralized ledger, actions are done on behalf of others. Now, these are the limitations with the centralized ledger. Now, how do I overcome the limitations with the centralized ledger is with the help of distributed ledger. Now, what happens in distributed ledger is you will be avoiding the single point of failure. How? Because the data is replicated across multiple machines, so the data is safe. Now, no one have the full control because see, if I am running a server, I have the full control on the server. Now, if it is distributed across 10 people who are having the same capability, then the chances of having the full control is reduced. Even though you have the full control, you will not be able to change the data just like that in any case. And every system has owned by someone, so everyone has the ownership of the data. Now, one question is now how exactly this distributed technology is related to blockchain technology. Yes, we are going to actually address this in a couple of minutes.
Nishant, I have a question, topology here.
Yes, yes,
So in distributed ledger, as you said, there will be many systems, right, connecting the network.
correct.
So who will decide these systems actually? Who are those actually?
Now, there are two types of networks, distributed ledger networks or blockchains. One is private blockchain, the other one is public blockchain. In a public blockchain, okay, anyone can join the network. Today, I am starting my own distributed ledger technology or distributed ledger network. I can just keep it open and anyone on the internet can join me. So I'll be publishing on my website saying that these are the joining instructions. You will be able to join the network. That is public blockchain. Now there is something called private blockchain. In private blockchain, it is responsible of the organization. Suppose as a cognizant, if they are starting their own blockchain network, then cognizant system administrators know how to join this network, so they will help the other people in joining the network. Now why would a cognizant has to deal with a public? No, you never deal with public, you deal with businesses. Maybe cognizant will approach Microsoft, maybe cognizant will approach some other company like JP Morgan or any of the banks and say that, see, we are running a private blockchain network, if you want you can join and you can perform all the transactions over our network. So
Yeah, okay.
there the systems are controlled by a single company. Now again, that is also going to be a centralized, that's an issue. That is the reason what happens is there is something called consortium. Now, in consortium, what happens is a group of companies will come together and form. Now, the control will be with the group of companies rather than having a single company. So, a group of companies will come together, they create a network, and they manage the network. So, managing the network's decision is not with single company. There should be multiple people who will approve any change. Is that clear, Balaji?
Yes, Nishant. So in public blockchain, so anyone can join, right? So
Correct.
then, what will be the benefit for those?
Now, see, in a public blockchain, it doesn't mean that you should get a benefit. It is not mandatory that you will get a benefit. However, to encourage people to start using it, they will give you some incentives. That incentives can be in the form of tokens or coins or bitcoin or litecoin, digicoin, zcash. It can be any kind of coin that they will give just to encourage you to start. See, if someone says that it is free, no one will come and take it. But if I say that if you join, I'll give you something, people will come and join. That is just a economics. So that is called as crypto economics. So this how do you deal with the people is there in economics. Now, if you are combining it with the digital currency or cryptocurrency, then you will call it as crypto economics. It's not a technology, it is the way you deal with people.
Yeah, okay, okay, Nishant.
Clear?
Yes.
Sriji, is that clear for you? Can you please respond on the chat if possible? Now, let us look at various distributed ledger technologies. Distributed ledger technologies is a very big area. It has multiple sub areas in it. One of the areas that evolved out of distributed ledger technologies is blockchain. And the protocols that we use in blockchain is like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hyperledger. Now, people say that Hyperledger is a blockchain, but it's not a blockchain, it is a DLT. Now, under DLT, there are some other platforms like DAGs, decentralized acyclic graphs. This is one area that is coming up, and the examples for DAGs are Railblocks, Hashgraph, IOTA. Now, you have some other alternative for blockchains is called Tempo. Now, Radix DLT is the is the another version or the platform that is being used in Tempo. So DLT technology has three different technologies, that is blockchain, DAG, and Tempo. Currently, we are only looking at blockchain. Now, blockchain is what everyone is thinking about. Now, in future, blockchain will be there, and its competitive technologies like DAGs and Tempos will also come in. As of now, we are only looking at blockchain and its evolution. So that is the limitation that we are going to talk only on blockchain now. Now, why do we need this blockchain technology? Let's understand the current problems with the blockchain technology. Generally, most of the ledgers that are stored in different places and with different entities, that's distributed. Now, when the data has to be updated onto the ledger, we need to get all entries and then update it. If we forgot to update or modify any of the data, it would be difficult. See, suppose my database is distributed across multiple people, and if I have to update database, everyone's database I have to update so that the records are consistent, the values are consistent across all the databases. Now, how do I ensure that? So that's when I use blockchain. Now, using blockchain, what happens is you will be able to update the data simultaneously across all the databases in a unique and serialized fashion. This way, we'll be able to save the time, we will be able to save the cost, reduce the risk, and increase the trust. Now, how do I increase the trust? Because in case of businesses, trust is very important because we deal with a lot of money. Now, we will see how are going to establish the trust using this blockchain technology. So whenever you want to build any of the trust, right, the main aim for the trust is transparency. You will be transparent to the people. So when you want to be transparent, you need to share everything. So that's called shared ledger. That means you will share the ledger with everyone, and you will never delete any data from it. You will only add the data. Okay, that's one area. Now, how do I build another trust? Is having a conditions or contracts which are very smart. That means there is no human here to just validate the transaction. They can just have a transaction here. There is something called privacy. You should be able to have the privacy to everyone. And then proof that yes, if something is got changed, you should always prove that yes, it is not got just changed just like that, and there are many other parameters for that. So these are the four parameters that you take into consideration when you are establishing a trust. And because of these four parameters that you want to do it, you need some technology that can actually do four of this work. That is actually done by the blockchain. Now, using shared ledger technologies, what you can do is you will be sharing the same ledger. When it's the same ledger, it is the same database, same record of transactions is shared across multiple people. Every participant has their own copy of the data, and in a permissioned blockchain or in a private blockchain, you can go ahead and see the transactions if you have permissions. Now, as I was talking, smart contracts, they are verifiable. Okay, people can go ahead and verify all the data what they have, and they will be able to look at, okay, this is the condition, and autonomously this got executed. And yes, smart contracts are written in various programming languages. Today in Ethereum, it is written in Solidity. Hyperledger, it is written in JavaScript, Java, and the other languages, Node.js. And how do you establish the privacy? We use a concept of digital signatures here. Now, every transaction that happens on the network are actually linked to some digital identity. That means if any transaction is happening, you will be able to go back and identify various digital technologies based on the identity and based on the digital signature. The other one is proof. You should also prove someone that yes, if anything is modified, irrespective of someone else's permission, you should prove that yes, it is modified because of a legitimate reason. And if any modifications are not legitimate, you should be able to openly tell. And suppose today I have done, everyone knows, but tomorrow or after 4 or 5 days, how do I know what happened in fourth day or last 4 days transactions? You should be able to maintain the log. So if you have a log of everything that is happening, it's fine. Now let's look at how blockchain is different from the traditional databases. In blockchain, it's only insert operations. You will never be able to delete the existing transaction. You will be able to modify the existing value or update the value. That means today at 5 o'clock, I have 10 rupees in my account. At 6 o'clock, I have 20 rupees in my account. It doesn't mean that I will change the existing value, but I will just append a new value. That means there is a record of 10 rupees as well as there is a record of 20 rupees. Two records will be there. But in a regular database, you will change the value of 10 to 20. In blockchain, that doesn't happen. You can ask me, if that is the kind of scenario, then you need so much of database, so much of storage space. Yes, that is there. That is obvious. When you want this kind of operation, you need to compromise on the storage. Now, in blockchain, the data is replicated on every peer. In traditional databases, most of the time it will be master master or master slave or multi-master. There is no consensus algorithm. It is only two-phase distributed. That means once the transaction is done, there is a commit that happens on the database, and that's it. Now, coming to the blockchain, what happens is as there are multiple people, you need to take the response from multiple people. You need to get the approval from multiple people to go ahead and approve the transaction. Now in traditional databases, integrity issues will come.
Sure. Balaji,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. So as you
Yes, Bal.
said, it needs multiple people to check and verify, right?
Yeah.
So it will take a lot of time, right, to verify from all those people.
No. So what happens is we are in a peer-to-peer network. In a peer-to-peer network, simultaneously people can validate. It is not that you will validate, after that some other person will validate, and it is not that the other person will validate. Simultaneously validation happens, and simultaneously the results are given, and based on the results, the approval happens. However, what happens is today's blockchain technology is not so matured that all the transactions happens in seconds. It is going to take some time. If you are looking at 3 years to 4 years before, if a transaction has to be executed on Bitcoin network, it used to take 1.5 hours. Today it happens in 2 to 3 minutes. So that's the kind of progress that we are bringing in. So yes, blockchain is a very new technology. It is still maturing. There are a lot more changes going to come, a lot more architectural changes that are going to come. So if we feel that this is the final technology, no, it doesn't work. In next 4 or 5 years, you are going to see a lot of change in the way the blockchain is working. The way the applications are getting developed is entirely going to change. The amount of time that you are going to take today is going to change in next 5 months. The next 1 year it is going to change. In the next few days, a few years, it's going to change.
Okay. So it is
See,
like that we have to check and verify manually, or it is automatically verified? Because
automatic. Everything happens automatically.
okay, okay. Because if I'm not active at that particular time, it will take a lot of time, right? Doing
No,
transaction.
no. See, again, it all depends upon what kind of topology that you are looking at. If you are in a public and if you are not active, then it is a problem. If you are in a private, then the servers are run by your own company, right? You will not take care of your servers. In a business environment, who will run the servers? Not you or me. It is the company who is maintaining the infrastructure. Correct?
Yeah, yes, yes, correct.
So suppose, see, if the banks are running the network, then banks will not shut down the servers, right? In non-working hours, they will run the servers every time.
Yeah, yes.
That's how it is. Now, coming to the blockchain flow, this is an end-to-end flow. Suppose if someone is requesting your money, okay, that request amount using an application, using a front-end application or a wallet, something like that, you will get and send it to them, to their address. So there is something called block address, or every guy in a banking industry has their own account number. Similarly, everyone will have their own account address, and you can just go ahead and create one account online. Once you create an account, you can just go ahead and send it to them. One, suppose this is how it happens. Suppose in an application you log in and say that, okay, Nishant's address is this and I want to send 10 bitcoins. So as soon as you click on send 10 bitcoins, a transaction will be sent into the network. That's a peer-to-peer network. Now once the transaction is sent into the network starts validating the transaction, whether the transaction is correct or not, whether this is the appropriate person to send the transaction, whether you have enough money in your account and he is the right person, the one who is being sent is the right person or not. All this is validated on a network, and then those transaction is confirmed. Now all the transactions that are confirmed will be grouped together in the form of a block. Now block means it is not physical block, it is a data structure. So 100 transactions are put in a loop, and that loop, or that all the transactions, you will do a SHA value, that's a message digest. Once the message digest is done, that is considered as a record. Once the block is created, the block should be approved by other people. Once the block is approved by other people, then the transaction is completed. This is the entire blockchain overview. If you are able to understand this slide, then pretty much you understand the blockchain. Look at any other platform. Now let's look at consensus. Before we get into consensus and validation, validation means verifying that the transaction is correct or not, or it's legal or not. Now consensus means even though the transaction is legal, whether will I accept it or not is consensus. See, transferring $10 to Balaji is correct. It's a validation. Legally, it is correct. He asked me, I have sent it. But the person on the bank person also should accept, right? Because Nishan's accounts may not have $10 in his account, but how will a bank person accept it? So that's a kind of, see, consensus means mutually agreeing. Validation means yes, it is correct or not. That's it. Now whether I need to accept it or not is called consensus. Is that clear, Balaji?
Yeah, yes, Nishant.
Srijit, can you hear me? Are we on the same page? Can you please respond to me? Okay. Now, what happens with consensus is, yes, as I said, Alice want to pay $10 to Jennifer. In our case, Ishant has to pay $10 to Balaji. That's the only example I have. So just to make you understand the consensus. No, there are multiple consensus algorithms like proof of work, proof of stake, proof of authority, proof of leadership, proof of elapsed time. The famous consensus algorithm that we can see is proof of work. Proof of work means you will be solving a challenge that is given by the network. Once you solve the challenge, you will be able to actually prove that yes, you are the right person, and who will be able to authorize the transaction, who will be confirming that this transaction is correct. Now this happens in the network. Now there are multiple people who will be working on the same problem. In the sense, a problem, you will get the solution for the same transaction. Suppose Nishant is sending $10 to Balaji. The people who are in the other people who are in the network will be able to actually go ahead and validate the transaction by multiple people. Multiple people will validate the same transaction, and the response has to come from multiple people. If I have to believe them, they have to do something. So that's called proof of work. Now there is something called proof of stake. That means whoever has the majority in the network, they will be able to approve the transactions. Now there are two types of proof of networks. One is delegated proof of network, proof of stake, and the other one is leasing proof of stake. Now in delegated proof of network, what happens is I will delegate someone. Say that you are responsible for validating the transactions. But in leasing, what happens is anyone can go ahead and say that yes, I will be able to validate the transactions, and they will be able to do it. And it's not that only one person does that. There are multiple people who will be leasing the transaction verification, and they will be able to do it. So we understood about this. So let me just go ahead and help you out with this. These are the various platforms that we have. One is Ethereum, multi-chain, Hyperledger, CodeDAO, OpenChain, IoT. These are the multiple blockchain platforms. It's not only this, there are more than 100 blockchain different platforms that are available to work with. Now, where do you use this blockchain? You can use it in financial industry, public sector, retail, insurance, anywhere, wherever you want trust, you will be able to do it, even in the manufacturing industry. So if you are looking at the blockchain tools and development, these are the programming languages, and you will be able to get it. So programming languages like Node.js, Go, Solidity, Java, and Python. You will be able to develop blockchain applications. Bitbucket and Git for source code repository. Operating systems that you can develop on is preferred is Ubuntu, but Windows 10 and Windows 7 you can develop the applications. If you want an in-memory blockchain database for temporary purpose, you can run Ganache software. If you want any IDEs, then you can use Remix, VS Code, Atom, and Hyperledger Composer. These are the IDEs where you can start developing the applications. Now, contract management, as you know, you will be developing smart contracts. Now, how do you manage these smart contracts? Using a tool called Truffle. And yes, all these tools are going to run in containers. It can be Docker or Kubernetes. So mostly if you are getting into the course, we will be looking in blockchain fundamentals, Ethereum basics, Web3 and Truffle, Solidity, and Hyperledger in depth. That's pretty much about the demo. Do you have any questions, or we can just get into some practicals? So if you see, this is Remix IDE. Now Remix IDE is Here you will be able to write these Solidity programs using a programming language called Solidity. This is a special programming language that is used only in Ethereum. So Ethereum is one blockchain platform. And if you want to work on Hyperledger, so this is Hyperledger where you will be able to develop the applications. Now, if you want to see a real-time application that is currently running, this is a real-time application for donating the organs on a blockchain network. So here we will be recording the multiple human organs. Then there will be donor, patient. If an ambulance has to pick up the organ, if a hospital has to approve whether the organ is correct or not, and if a doctor who is working on that surgery, he will be able to actually validate he has done the right surgery. Now, looking at the transactions, if you see the donation happens, the organ donation happens. This is pretty much one application that is developed on blockchain. This is just one application that I have developed. There are multiple others. So if you would like to learn more on this, I think it's not the right time. We don't have enough time for us to learn today. But yes, these are pretty much, it's possible to develop. That's pretty much from my side. Do you have any questions, Balaji, or anyone on the call?
Sure, that I already told I was belong to storage technology, so I was
Yeah.
not pretty much aware of this programming language. But I'm able to understand when someone explain about these kind of concepts.
Okay.
So will I make into the blockchain technology? What are the
So now
characteristics
there are
will
two
I
things. I understand, Balaji. See, there are two things here, right? You are being a storage administrator. Okay, correct. Correct me if I'm
Yes,
wrong. You're a storage
yes, yes,
administrator. You know what
yes.
happens is every technology first the development has to happen and then the administration will come in to the picture. But what happens is in today's world, blockchain technology is still being developed. Blockchain technology is still being developed. Now, when this technology is being developed, okay, we are currently developing the technology. Maybe in next 1 year, you will be getting the administration. In next 1 year or next 1.5 years, you will be getting the opportunities for administrator. But before that, you should be good with the technology.
Yeah. So what are all the prerequisites,
So now
Sham?
what should happen is, see, we need to learn multiple technologies and keep it ready. As soon as the administrator opening starts, then you can apply. As of now, people are still developing it, so they don't need much people for management. But once the applications are developed, full-fledged, they are running in production, then you need people for managing. I hope it's clear for you, Balaj.
Okay. Yeah, sure. But what are all the basics I should learn for this technology?
So for this, see, now there are various platforms. See, some companies work on Ethereum, some companies work on Hyperledger, some companies work on Corda. It is similar to like someone will use NetApp, someone will use EMC storage.
Yeah, yeah.
There are two people who are actually the main vendors. Here, it's not one vendor, two vendors. There are multiple vendors. It can be IBM Hyperledger, R3 Corda, or JP Morgan's Quorum. Every company has their own blockchain platform. Now you need to choose which platform to work on. So as of now, you start working on open source. As you learn them, once you are comfortable with the technology, you can go with the proprietary version. I think Cognizant itself has their own blockchain technology platform that you are developing on R3 Coda. You currently use R3 Coda and you develop insurance applications on top of it. Hello, Balaji.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's it from my side, Balaji. Any other questions you got?
No, Nishan. So will you able to share this document to me?
Sorry.
No, after the session, can you share this document or?
No, this is a presentation created by me, so I'll not be able to share the document. But yes, I'll
Okay.
be able to share some resources like this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, Nishant.
Thanks a lot, Balaji, for joining the call.
Yeah, thanks, Nishant, for the question.
Thank you everyone for joining the call.